Hello and welcome to IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook. Today we're going to be making a conversation heart wreath for our front door. Conversation hearts are those little heart-shaped candies with different sayings on that you get around Valentine's Day. For this project we are going to need wooden hearts, different colors of pastel paint, a foam paint brush, Sharpie markers that are just a shade darker than our paint, ribbon, and I'm going to be using both craft glue and hot glue for this project. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is paint our hearts. So I'm just using a plastic container to put some paint in. And then I'm going to use my foam brush to put a nice layer of paint over the heart. Now I am going to give these 2 coats of paint just because I want them to be nice and a solid color. And as you can see, my hearts are not sanded smooth, so they do have a little bit of a rough texture, which I'm okay with that for this project because the Conversation Hearts candies are a little rough too. Once all your hearts are painted, you want to make sure that they are completely dry. Once all of your hearts are dry, we're going to add the fun sayings. Now I'm just going to be using a Sharpie marker, like I said, just a shade darker than the color of my paint. And I bought a box of conversation hearts just to see what some of the sayings are. You can make up whatever you want your hearts to say. So on this one, I'm just going to write "Be Mine," and I'm going to put different sayings on all 20 of my hearts. Now that we have all of our hearts with our sayings, we're going to put our wreath together. I'm just going to stack these up so that each stack is of one color because I'm going to make sure my wreath goes around in the different colors. And I'm just going to use this plastic lid from a bowl to draw a circle on my drop cloth here, just to give me the basic shape of the wreath. And when you're done, you're going to notice that mine is not a perfect circle, and that's okay. You can make this really whatever shape you want, but this is just to help me figure out where my hearts are going to go. And if you want to lay all of your hearts out before you start gluing, that is perfectly fine. I should have done that, but I didn't, so my wreath is a little misshaped at the end, but it gives it character. So you're just going to use a bit of craft glue to start gluing your hearts together. And I'm just going to put one right there on top. And then I'm going to put some glue on the other one. And so our wreath is going to be 2 layers of hearts, just one on top of the other, alternating the whole way around our wreath. And because this is craft glue, you do have a couple of minutes to move things around, but if you get your glue on top, it will show a little bit, but that's okay. So as you can see, I'm just going to go around alternating the colors of my hearts to make my wreath. Okay, now that all of our hearts are glued together, you want to let that glue dry, and I did leave mine overnight. So here's our wreath, and I'm just going to flip it over to add a hanger, and I'm just going to take that blue ribbon, and I tied a small knot to make a loop, and here's where I'm going to be using my glue gun because I want to make sure that that hanger stays on there very securely. So just a big glob of hot glue, and then very carefully press that knot into the hot glue. And once it's dry, you've got a beautiful Valentine's Day wreath. Stay safe and see you next week on IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook.